there, Alex here. So I've reviewed the XZ2 Compact and even the XZ2 Premium, but I've never talked about the regular XZ2. Since the Android 10 update is sort of out for the phone, I thought it would be a great time to do that. Right off the bat, this is still such a good looking phone. I'm not a fan of the other colors and I still prefer the matte finishing on the XZ2 Compact, but I'm really liking this liquid silver version here. The curved back makes it feel really good in hand, but the fingerprint sensor is a little low for my liking. It makes it hard for me to use a pop socket on the phone. Talking about the fingerprint sensor, it was working well before I updated to Android 10, but after the update, sometimes it just doesn't work when the screen is off, and I'll need to turn on the screen first, so it's no surprise that Sony pulled the update shortly after. Anyway, even though it doesn't have super thin bezels on the front of the phone, I don't really mind it. When I'm using the phone, I'm just looking at the screen anyway, and it's a pretty good looking LCD panel. Other than the blacks not looking as deep compared to AMOLED screens, it has nice colors and outdoor visibility is quite good. In terms of specs, I won't go into details, but it's pretty typical of a flagship phone from 2 years ago. I actually still think that it's a pretty nice phone to use overall. The phone performs well for everything I need from it, including playing some casual games. It is water and dust resistant as well, and even though it doesn't sound as good as newer phones, it still has stereo speakers. Even for the smallish 3180 mAh battery, I was actually still able to get through a day of use with the phone, which is kinda surprising to me considering this is an older phone as well. I'm not going to spend too much time on camera performance since it's pretty much the same as the XZ2 Compact. Basically, it's just an okay camera. It performs well in most situations, but the image processing seems a bit aggressive when you look a little closer, and auto HDR isn't always that reliable. I'm still able to capture some nice looking shots on the phone, but it doesn't really perform as well as newer phones these days. Anyway, I'll have a link in the description below with everything I took with the phone, so you can see for yourself whether the camera performance is good enough for your needs. Which brings us to software. Like I mentioned earlier, the Android 10 update has been pulled due to bugs. For me, I did a factory reset after the update, so maybe that's why I didn't encounter as many issues as others are reporting. But just the fingerprint sensor not working properly is annoying enough that I wish I could go back to Android 9. Anyway, the software experience is pretty much as expected from Sony. It's relatively clean, and the performance is good enough for the most part. While some of the software features like battery care for example is quite useful, I don't really find other stuff like Xperia Assist to be as useful. Also, despite being Android 10, there is still no gestures navigation, probably because Sony's launcher hasn't been updated, so for now, it's definitely quite rough around the edges, and hopefully this is something they will fix soon. Overall, the XZ2 is still a pretty nice phone to use, and I think it has aged decently well. If you like Sony devices and you can find one at a good price, it's still a pretty good phone. That said, mid-range devices these days have gotten so good, and the XZ2 is probably not going to get any more major updates after Android 10, so my first recommendation would probably be to look at some of those options first. Thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content in the future. Thanks again, and see you guys on the next one.